joining. A very warm welcome to everyone this evening who is joining online and who will be listening to the recording. I see there's a few more students just in the waiting room, so I'm just going to wait 2 more seconds and just let everybody join in, and then we will start. But again, a warm welcome to all of you, and just some motivation. We're almost there, guys. So yeah, there's lots of pressure on you guys now. Assignments have been done, class tasks have been done, everything has been completed, and now it's just the final step to getting those exams ticked off and then moving on to third year. So you guys have come so far already, so just keep pushing through. I know sometimes you feel like it just never ends, the work, but trust me, it's going to be okay. And then December, you can breathe nice and easy for a little while before third year hits. So just keep on fighting the good fight, ladies and gentlemen. And on that, yeah, so the assignment marks, I know that we are still waiting for some groups to finish marking. Most of the students, I can't speak. I just want to quickly go and see if the other OTs are online before. So I know that there have some groups who are still waiting for the groups. I know my groups have all been marked so far, and those marks will be verified. So I'm sure by the end of the week, once all the groups have been submitted, then those marks will be relieved. But I know from my side, the students in my group 1 and group 4, so far the marks are looking very, very good. All of them have been finished. There's a few late submissions that I still need to mark, but so far the exams, I mean the assignment, both assignment 1 and assignment 2 have gone very, very well. And I know that the final due date for all the marks is the 10th of November, which is Friday. So by that stage, all the marks should be in and processed and verified, and you should get them by then as well. Yeah. But well done. On that note, well done to everyone who's really put in a lot of effort into the assignments. It really just means that you guys are entering the exam with a high CAS mark, and it does it does take the little bit of pressure off of you as well. So I can see you guys are stressing a little bit about the stats. I've got no advice or help about that. You're on your own there, ladies and gents. But I would recommend that you do try and sleep in between all the studying, Gaston. At least you can try and do that. But yeah, you're on your own for stats, finances, accounting. Don't give me a number. You're on your own. But I promise I will be able to help you with business management and marketing management and all of the theoretical content you can ask. But stats, you're going to have to find someone else. But indeed, Nate, you guys can do this. And I was just chatting to the other OTs. I've been chatting quite a bit, obviously, to Peter and Theo and the rest of them as well. And yes, you really should do that. Statistically, you get past that. Let's hope, eh? Okay, let's forget about stats, ladies and gents, and let's get into business management. Luckily, you can breathe easy for business management. If you've put in the hard work for the assignments and stuff, you know the content, you understand it, and the exam shouldn't be too complicated for you. Obviously, it's going to be a challenge. No exam is easy, but at least with business management, you've got the resources that you have available. You've prepared assignments. You've prepared a lot of the work before the time. You've completed ICE tasks, and all of those would have prepared you for the actual exam coming up. So let's speak a little bit about the exam and when, and what are you going to expect? What is to be expected from the exam? So as you know, the exam remains a take-home exam for this year. So for this year, you've still got that take-home exam. We haven't heard when it's going to change, but most likely when you get to third year, you will most probably be going back to written on campuses as well. But for now, we are still looking at take-home exams for business management, for second year business management, and the exam is due on the 23rd of November. So 23rd November is the exam date that I have according to the PAS. I haven't checked if that date has changed. So I think I checked a few weeks ago and it was still the same. But, sometimes these dates can change. But according to me, the due date is still the 23rd of November. And yeah, and that's what we are aiming towards as well. Take-home exam. What does that mean? That means, as it has been always in the past, ladies and gents, the exam is released or uploaded on your portal. So the same place where you would find your assignments and all your other module items and module guides under student materials, you would find the take-home exam. So it's released at midnight, and you've got up until 9 o'clock on the 23rd of November to make sure your exam is submitted before then as well. No, I for sure, hey. So I always now go and just triple check because we had no idea about any of, but I, like I said, I have been checking regularly, and just because usually the dates remain the same for the whole semester. So that one really caught us unawares. You're right. So yeah, 23rd of November, exam due before 9 o'clock. Remember, you're going to submit it on VC Learn, okay? So remember, ladies and gents, as again, I can't accept email submissions or things like that. If you have a problem, there's a real problem, say, no, you haven't submitted or there's really a crisis, it's up to you to apply for the extension. So I can't go and grant the extension. I can't apply on your behalf. I can't mark an exam that has been emailed. It's against the policies. You have to submit via VC Learn because that is where the rubric is attached. So it has to go through that, and you will then be responsible to go and apply for an approval and wait and see whether that extension has been approved or declined or whatever the case may be. So it's just very, very important that we understand that. I know sometimes we sound like stuck records when we say that, but it really is the case. Exams are, it's like anything else. You've got to submit it on time on the correct platform. Okay, so no late submissions. Remember, if it's 2 seconds late, it is considered late. Remember as well, on the 23rd of November, there are at least, I want to say, 13 or 14 modules that are all submitting on that day. So you can imagine how busy VC Learn is going to be. The network is probably going to be slow on that day because we're going to have an influx of submissions. It's always like that. So please, ladies and gentlemen, if I can give you one tip, it's to make sure that you submit on time. So don't wait until 5 to 9. Don't wait until 10 to 9. Give yourself at least 30 minutes for that to upload, for VC Learn to process your work, okay? So just give yourself enough time. VC Learn is always busy when it's exam, and the 23rd of November is right in the beginning, and I can tell you that there are many, many, many modules where there are thousands of students all submitting at the same time. So please, guys, just be aware of that and just make sure that you are indeed submitting your exam with enough time to spare. So I always just also tell the students, just on that note as well, Nate, even as an OT, I still go and triple check things and double check and make sure we've got the right assignments. Even when I'm prepping for assignments, I always double check. So just always look for your code as well. Remember, the key thing for this, for you guys who are online, is your code will always have a W at the end. W for web, you're online. So it will always be BMNG 6222 and a W. So the full-time students won't have that W. For the exam, everybody, whether you are full-time or online, you will write the same exam. So it shouldn't be too much of a problem for now, but just for the assignments, just remember, always look for your code is W. Full-time will always be indicated by FT, full-time, and they won't have W at the end of their code. So yours always BMNG, let's say next year, 7321W online for web. Okay. So yeah, so that's always the trick for that as well. So remember, the exam is posted on the midnight. So if you think about it, on the 22nd, so Wednesday, the 22nd of November at midnight on that day. So in other words, at the break of day on the 23rd, which means it's midnight the 22nd. So you're going to get it on Wednesday. Some students say to me, but Kim, when must I do the paper? And no one can tell you that, okay? Some people like to wait up until 12 o'clock, get the paper started, and finish it and then sleep. Other students will wake up maybe a bit earlier, maybe at 6 o'clock in the morning, and then download it and spend the day doing it. It's up to you. There are no rules as to when you need to complete it. Remember, you can do question 1, go and do whatever you need to do, come back and do question 2, etc., etc., as long as it gets done. I always tell the students, though, try and download the paper and work on the paper until it is finished, while your brain is in the mode of writing the exam. Try and get that paper finished as well. Okay, remember, it's typing, it's work, it's a lot that needs to be done. So please don't just think, well, I'm going to do the exam in 2 hours, so I'm going to sit at 7 o'clock and submit at 9 o'clock and give myself 2 hours to do it, because that's probably not going to work. Remember, we are looking at a 120 mark paper, so it's a long exam, case studies, written long paragraphs, so you're looking at an essay at the end. So it's a lot of typing, a lot of references that you need to be that need to be included in the paper. So please, guys, give yourself enough time for to actually complete the assignment within time. Remember to reference correctly. Don't just copy and paste work. So don't just take something and put it in. Remember, as a second year, we need to make sure that the OT can see that you understand what you are writing about. So our theory remains the same. The theory has been repeated from the first year. It gets repeated again in third year. But what we want to see is that you understand the theory. So we want to not just see that you can take the material out the textbook and copy it over into your exam. We want to really see that you understand. So show your understanding. How do we do that? Give as many examples as possible. So think a little bit out the box. Give some examples. Justify your work with a supporting example or a relative example to show that you actually do understand. Look at the mark allocation. If a question is worth 10 marks, make sure you are writing enough information for 10 marks. Remember, the general rule of thumb is 1 mark per fact. So generally, if you have a decent fact, a good fact, you are going to get a mark for that. So if we hypothetically have a 10-mark question, we are looking at 10 facts. So we're looking at 10 facts for the 10 marks. So if in doubt, just use that as an indication. Don't only write 4 sentences, because the chances are you're not going to score a high mark out of 10. So it's not necessarily sentences that we look for, but more facts. Some sentences might have 2 facts within them, so you'll get 2 marks for the sentence. But yeah, like I say, focus on the fact. What is the fact? A little nugget of information. So for 10 marks, you need 10 nuggets of information, whether that be theory or application, depends on the question, but you need 10 sort of different little bits of facts or information that you would do. So please, guys, don't be late. If for some reason you are submitting late or you are sick on the day of the exam, remember that each student does get those 2 extension approvals or whatever the policy states. So you can use those for the exam, but then you need to apply for a resubmission, and you will only write in the next exam sitting, which is, I think, at the beginning of January. So you really don't want to be doing that. As far as possible, you've got good results so far, just get the exam done as well. So Nate, that's also a good question. For the points of the exam, you can just use your textbook. So you are allowed to just use your textbook. But like I say, a lot of the exam will also be application based, and then you will need to research, because you'll need to research the organization on which the case is based. So then you would be able to do it. Sometimes the textbook doesn't have enough information, then you would need to do external research, but you can just base your answer on the textbook, as long as we can see, like I said, that you understand what is written in the textbook. So don't just copy and paste the textbook. Take the information from the textbook, write it in your own words, reword it, add some examples, and then that would count then as a or that would be sufficient for a question there as well. Okay. So what are we going to cover for the content? So I'm just going to quickly go over what exactly we're going to look at for the content and what are we going to focus on. So remember, our textbook goes all the way from Learning Unit 1 through to Learning Unit 9. Please don't just pick up your textbook and start with Chapter 1 and go all the way to Chapter 9. Remember, you would have already realized at this stage that our chapters are all over the show. The learning units are not in order according to the textbook. So we start with, for example, Chapter 4, then we jump to Chapter 9, then we jump again to Chapter 20, then we come back to Chapter 7. I mean, not Chapter 7, but yeah, we come back to the other chapters. We come back to Chapter 3, we come back to Chapter 5, and then we move on to Chapter 9, etc., etc. So we've got many different chapters, which can get quite confusing. Remember that Learning Unit 8, when they speak about the communications, is not in the textbook. You need to download that document from the portal, and I've also put it in your more resources folder. So all the OTs will also, if they haven't yet, put it in the more resources folder. They will put it in the more resources folder. And remember just to download it and to just check that it is, you know, that you're learning that order as well. So Learning Unit 8, not in the textbook, you need to download it as well. And I always tell the students to stick to the learning outcomes. Nothing that is not an outcome is going to get asked, okay? So everything that is going to get examined or tested is going to come from those learning outcomes. So if you see something in the textbook and it doesn't fall under an outcome, you can leave it out. You don't have to revise through that. You don't have to look at that. You know that you can leave that section out. So there's quite a few little sections that don't fall under the learning unit outcomes. You can leave it out. And in the same breath, when you are studying and when you want to revise, I always tell my students, full-time online campus, that that you need to take the learning unit and start by studying the learning outcomes. So again, if you can answer or explain or define the learning outcomes, then you will be absolutely fine for the theory part of the exam. And all you need to remember then is to apply that theory in the application as well. Okay, so just to remember, start with the learning outcomes. If ever you feel sort of overwhelmed and you don't know where to start, take the module guide, look at those learning outcomes. You'll see they are also on this slide, which I'll quickly run through, and then we can focus on that as well. Yes, Nate, I think I have put it in the more resources folder, but I will just give me 1 second. I just want to double check. I'm almost sure I did already, but let me just quickly make a note here just to double check. If it isn't there for some reason, I will go and put it in now after the session as well. But I think it is in there. Oh, there. Thank you so much. There it is as well. Thanks a million, Gaston, for that. Yes, and to reference, you can see that a lot of the time the referencing is quite confusing for it. So I tell the students, I can't remember now exactly what if they don't give you an author in it. So I just tell the students to just say IE as the author of the book. So IE, capital letters IE, and then you can just give the date. And if I remember correctly, if my memory serves me right, it's 2018. So that would be your reference for that as well. So then that you would be in text referencing IE 2018, and then obviously in your references you would just need to write it out. So your author would be the Independent Institution of Education. The title would be Learning Unit 8 Business Management, whatever they've written on that front page there. And then the year is obviously, I think it is 2018 as well. Just give me a second and then I'm going to answer all the questions as well. So let me just quickly I just want to go and double check quick sticks what is in here. it doesn't allow me to go back and to just have a check. So you will see that there are slides uploaded. I know that the slides are also there on VC Learn. I'm not 100% sure if I've put Learning Unit 8 there. If I haven't, I will go and do that as well. And Alethea, just to answer your question, it is saved in your student materials platform. But if you also go onto VC Learn into Learning Unit 8, you'll see it also says there's a red button. So if you go into Learning Unit 8, I can share the screen with you, but if you go in to Learning Unit 8, on it, there's a little red box and it says, note that this document is your prescribed work. And then this document is sort of a highlighted big blue hyperlink. If you just click on that hyperlink, then it gives you straight access to it as well. So if you can't find it, then just go and check. It just says in Learning Unit 8 on VC Learn. You just click into Learning Unit 8. The very first thing underneath the learning objective says this document, and it's underlined. And then you just click on the blue document and it will open up Learning Unit 8 for you. If you're having a hard time finding Learning Unit 8, please guys, let me know if you're still struggling to find it. It's email your OT, email myself. We will always help you to find it as well. Okay, so I just want to go and check that. Thank you very much. That'll be very, very helpful, Nate, as well. And Gaston, thank you for sharing that too. Awesome. Thank you so much, guys. You are super duper helpful. Wonderful. Thank you. Okay. So again, just a reminder, don't leave it to the last minute. I have already said that. Stick to the mark allocation. Make sure you understand the question and answer the correct question. Okay. So show your understanding of the question. Read the case study. So you are going to get a case study or 2 case studies. Read them a few times. Pick up anything, pick up important key phrases, terms, ideas from the case study. I always tell the students to highlight them. Obviously, it's, it will be on your computer. Highlight it, and and then apply. You might and probably would be encouraged to do extra research on the case study that has been given. So just make sure that you do apply the case study and use it. So you are go into the website, research a little bit about the company. So take some time. Don't rush your work. Take some time to really get a feel for the organization and for the company. Look at their leaders. Look at the way that they are managing change. Look at the way that they are, developing a contemporary organization. How are they motivating the staff? How are they leading? Okay, so those are the types of things you should be opening your eyes to when you are reading through the case study. It would be very nice if it was Checkers 60/60 because there's a lot of great examples in that company. I mean, they've really done absolutely phenomenal things, from their marketing campaign to the way that they've just operated has been it's been very, very interesting, and there's a lot of information. But yeah, we don't know. Capitec has been done, so I don't know if they'll ask it again. You never know. Maybe I know our third years are working with Nedbank again. Very, very interesting. MTN, Vodacom, they love to use those. And also, there's always some interesting upcoming entrepreneur that always manages to pop into these exams as well. Remember, on that note, ladies and gents, I haven't seen the exam. I have no idea what's in the exam. To be very honest with you, I am only allowed to see the exam once you guys have finished the exam. So I always like to wait for that first student to submit, and then I go and check the answers and see if I can figure out the questions that were set from it. I only get to see the exam once the 9 o'clock deadline has been reached. So I have no idea. It's always exciting for me as well to see what is in the exam. So yes, there's a lot of options for us in South Africa. There's a lot of good businesses. They generally like to stick to a business that is well known. So yes, Takealot is definitely an option. A bank, a good cell phone company, so something that where they are making great shapes within technologies or something like that. But they also will like to include a an entrepreneur who's doing something right, like Richard Branson, or like we said when we spoke about Harry and all the rest of those entrepreneurs as well. Okay. So make sure that you are giving the application, make sure you've read about the case study as well. Okay. Just to then just quickly pause here for a few seconds. Any questions at this stage? I know I'm going to go through some of the concepts now, but are there any specific content areas or theories or chapters, learning units that you are maybe a little bit concerned about, that you would like either myself or Theo, Peter, Mariska to try and do like a little consolidation video for, anything like that? Let me know now. So I'll just pause 2 minutes. Let me know, what are your concerns with the theory, with the content, with anything else that you have been working with, before I sort of give you an overview of the content, just so that we know that we can unpack certain. If there's nothing, you can just give me a thumbs up, and then we can go on as well. So I'll just pause for a minute or two and just let you guys think about that, and then we'll move on. Thank you, Sandra and Chrissy. And Devolt, just to answer that question again, snails and eagles and good little good things there. So I'm taking that as a thumbs up. Wing it. No, you can't just wing it, you guys. I've got this. You've got it. You've got it. You've got it. Let's go full steam ahead. Okay, Devolt, back to your question. The exam is loaded on your hub, so on your VC homepage, your Varsity College homepage, where you find, we call it the hub. So the hub, the splash page of the hub, where you find student materials. If you click into student materials, traditionally you would have found student materials would contain your assignments, plus your module guide, plus your module outcome. If there's any other addendum, it's going to be available in that student material. So if you click on your splash page or your SharePoint page where you access VC, your Varsity College homepage, so not VC Learn, but your Varsity College homepage or splash page for that, and you click under student material, you will see it will be there, and it will be labeled take home exam, BMNG 6222 take home exam. If you see a code that says 6212, please don't panic. It is the same thing, but yeah, generally your code would be 6222. And if there's any problem with the exam or you can't find it, please also just send me a message, because I can't fix it, but at least I can phone the online center straight away and I can get them to fix it as well. But yes, look in your student material. So where you find student materials, it is going to be over there. Okay, so on the midnight, it's going to be loaded into student materials. Should be here. Starting at midnight, yeah. So that's exactly the site that you're going to go and look at. So your SharePoint for tertiary students, and you'll see the splash page. If you look at the splash page, it says, it's got all those little wonderful squares. I think it says sort of student portal, VC Learn, the library, any other past papers, etc. And then you go to student material, and it's going to be uploaded over there. Okay. Yeah, so it gets loaded at midnight, and then you can download it. We don't want the stats paper, we just want BMNG. So I'm not too sure about that, Emma. Maybe go and check. But like I say, your strategy and how you're going to approach which time, I always tell my students, if it was me, I would wait until 5 o'clock in the morning and then wake up and make sure it's there, because sometimes it isn't loaded at 12 and you've wasted your whole time. But I know some students, they want to start straight away. They want to look, they want to have a look at the paper as well. But, you do your strategy. If you want to wait from 10 o'clock and check every 5 minutes, by all means, you do that. But yeah, as long as you get it in by 9 p.m., I don't really mind when you start and that. I'm just interested in when it is submitted. Okay, thanks, Nate. You've been super helpful as well again. So thank you for sharing the student materials again. And then you just select 2023, yes, and it's going to be there. It'll say take home exam. And yeah, so the learning unit 8 would also be loaded in that student material place. Or your assignments. If there was an addendum, they would load it up there as well. Okay. So I think I have answered all those questions. If you just give me 1 second, I just want to scroll back up to the chat. I'm just quickly doubly checking that I haven't missed any questions. Oh yeah, Tinsy, you see I nearly missed you. Yes, so very, very good point there. Thank you so much for that question, Tinsy, as well. I always tell my students, theory, application. So definitely start off with the theory, give enough theory, and then application. So I always tell my students, I think I've probably said it many times in our classes as well, TA, theory, application. Give the theory and apply the theory. Always start with the theory. Always start with the definitions and the theory, because then it is done, and then get the application. So always explain yourself, get the theory in, and then pop in the application after that as well. So yes, thank you so much for that question. Just to know. So theory first, or what you said, the points. So give your points, give your facts, give your things, and then give the application to the case study or examples. If they're not necessarily asking for application, my advice is always to back the theory up with an example. So if it can be a completely example that is sort of random, it's nothing related to the case study, or there is no case study, but still give an example. It's always advisable in a take-home exam just to get those extra marks to give an example. Support your theory with the application points as well. Okay. There you go. So hopefully someone will share it in the group. Remember, I don't have the exam, so please don't email me for the exam. I would love to help. Honestly, I would, but I don't have access to that paper on the 23rd, so I can't share it with you. I can't upload it on VC Learn. I can't do anything like that. So really and truly, it's up to you to please go and make sure that you've got access to that as well. 100%, Nate. As long as you've got the information in there, whether you've sourced that from your textbook or an external source, it is advisable. I mean, it is acceptable. So use the textbook. Your textbook is your main source of reference. So in an exam like this, your textbook should be your first point of call as well. So use the textbook. Like I say, nothing is going to be out of scope from the textbook, and all the information that's going to be tested on is in the textbook. So the only thing where you need to get just be aware of again is that there are no examples in the textbook that you can use. So all the examples need to come from your own experiences or your own thinking or your own examples that you would have as well. Okay, and yes, you're definitely going to have to reference the textbook. So even if you are using the textbook throughout the exam, please make sure that you've got your in-text references under each section that you have used the textbook for, and go and have a reference list. Okay, so on that note, with the exams, remember, an exam that doesn't have in-text referencing and that doesn't have a reference list, or an exam that is flagged for plagiarism, remember that's not done by myself. I don't get to see those exams even. So they will automatically go to the plagiarism officer, and you will get an email from, I can't even remember the name, I think it's Sambo or whatever his name is. He will then send an email, and you will then, the plagiarism process begins with you as well. So please, guys, make sure you reference correctly. So any minor technical referencing errors, those obviously I will pick up and I can minus marks for those. But if your referencing is absent, in other words, you don't have referencing, then those assignments are the ones that I cannot mark them. I don't receive those assignments. They are blocked from my VC Learn because they go to a different process. They go to a different route. So please, guys, in-text referencing, reference list is important. If there are a few mistakes here and there with your referencing, like it's not in alphabetical order or there's some sort of incongruency, that can just be a minor technicality. You'll get maybe a minus here or a minus there. But if in general your referencing is good and consistent, you will be fine for referencing. But make sure you have the referencing in there. Okay. Let me just go back to the questions just to clarify. I can use the textbook. Yes, I've answered that question. So Tinsy, no, the assignment 2 marks aren't out yet, but they should. The marks are all due on the 10th of November, which is Friday. So that would be sort of the latest that you would get them once they have been verified and processed by the online team. Yeah, so I always tell the students it is like an assignment. That's basically what a take-home exam is. Obviously, there's going to be more application stuff, but basically a take-home exam is like an assignment, except you are doing this assignment under pressure. You don't have weeks and weeks to complete it. You're doing it in a day. Some students might be good at that, might be good at performing the assignments under pressure, but yeah, that's the only real difference, is that you've got to do a lot of application. The assignment also, the exam also counts more marks, so you've got more writing, more typing. So it is a lot of typing in one space of time. You don't have time to take a few days to complete it. Like Gaston says there, Nate, I know our third years this year, the business management 3As wrote on campus. So our first semester business management students all wrote on campus, a written exam on campus, but now the 3Bs are also doing take home. So they changed so that they went back to take home as well. But I'm pretty sure next year will be written on campus, at least for 3A will be written on campus. So any students who's doing business 3A will be writing on campus. So then the time is limited as well. Okay, let's just check here. I don't want to miss any questions. Yeah, so on that note, guys, obviously if you have used, so now there's a question that's very similar to assignment 1 and assignment 2, you are welcome to use that information again. So you can copy from your assignment and either reword it or use it as is in your exam, because remember, you would have already referenced it. So just make sure you use the references that you used in your assignment in the exam as well. So if you've got another theory is the same, or you're working on the same concept, you can just take that information out your assignment and then put it in, as long as, again, you've got the same reference there as well. So I hope that answers your question, Neo, Theona. Yes, and Gaston as well, good question. Remember, as an exam, you do have a chance to submit again. So you've got, I can't remember how many attempts, but I think it's quite a few attempts. I don't even know if it's unlimited, but yes, you can submit the assignment, and then maybe you forgot to add something, you can go and resubmit it on, as long as you're within the right time frame. So as long as everything is submitted before 9 o'clock, what will happen when I receive the assignments on my side, so when I get the notification that the assignment is released, or the exam rather, then I will be allocated the last attempt, so the final attempt will be the one that I will mark. So if you've got 3 attempts, the third attempt will be marked. If the third attempt is out of time, so it's submitted at 9:05, but attempt 1 was submitted before 9, then obviously I'm going to mark attempt number 1. So that's kind of how that works as well. We are very out of training our brains to remember the theory, but there's lots of ways to study and to remember it as well. Oh yeah, especially this time of the year, we don't remember where anything is. I agree with you. Yes, okay, so there again, Alicia, I think I answered your question once again for you there. I'm just checking that I'm not missing any questions. twice. Yeah. Yeah, you can submit it, and I know that sometimes my students have submitted 4 times, but I just want to quickly go and check. Sometimes they have put the limit on here, so just give me 1 second. I just want to open up the actual link. The link isn't open yet. You see, it hasn't even been created yet, so no, I can't tell you how many times it is. I'll just make sure that I double check that. So usually the link is available a little bit before the time, and then we can go and create it there. But you will definitely have more than once to submit, yeah. But I'll go and double check exactly how many attempts you have. Okay, guys, so let's just check that I've answered all those questions that are there. I don't think there's any more. If there's any other questions, speak now. If ever, hold your peace. I will give you guys a minute to just check that everything has been. If you have typed a question and I've missed it, please just retype it now, quick sticks for me, and then I can address it. Or if you've suddenly thought about something, I won't be able to find your car keys. I don't know where you've put your cell phone or anything like that. But at least I can help you to get a distinction in the exam, eh? Yes, indeed we can. And I just want to quickly check the schedule if there isn't a session. I see we don't have. Okay, so listen, I'm going to check. You guys, if you guys can let me know when is a good time for you, then let me know in the course of next week. I'm happy. I can meet any day next week except on Monday. So Monday I've got other collab scheduled, but anytime from the 14th. 14th might be a bit difficult. Let me just confirm that. But yeah, so let's say Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday. Let me know when when we can do it. If you guys can just sort of chat among yourselves, maybe make a poll on the group. You've got that group there, Gaston, if you don't mind, or who, yeah, I think you're the one who's been. So if you can just create a little poll there, let me know, and then I will set up a session. Not a problem. I'd go through past papers with you guys gladly. So maybe if you can just send me an email once it's been decided, if you can, yeah. So like I say, we can make it. I don't know how your other exam schedule looks. I don't know when else you are submitting, but I'm free. I'm free the rest of this week. So I'm free on Friday, this week on Friday, and I'm obviously free next week from the 15th, 16th, and 17th. And obviously the weekends, we can also schedule a time in there. So hopefully that gives you, if you want it to be just before the exam, so like the 21st and 22nd, that's also fine with me. Any day, 20, 21, 22, you just let me know. But we can definitely go work through a past paper. I think it'll be a good idea as well. If there really is, so say now there is really a time where it doesn't fit and you can't make a specific session or whatever, then just also send me an email. Like I don't mind also meeting up for 15 minutes or whatever before even if it's just a sort of just you and in the room, I can meet up, I can help you. I'm prepared to help like that as well. So if there's a date that really doesn't suit you, but you've really got a concern about something, speak to me, let me know before the exam. So I'm pretty flexible. Like I said, the only 2 days that wouldn't really work for me would be the 13th and the 14th, because I've got other classes on those days. But those are the evenings. It can also be lunchtime. You guys let me know, or Saturday would be good. Yeah, I'm happy with the 15th. You can run it by Ricardo and let me know if there's any other OTs or any other students from the other OTs and you want to join. You can also just tell me. I will share that link with all the groups as well. I'm happy with 15th at the same time. So if everybody's happy with that, you guys can someone just confirm with me. So I don't mind if you guys quickly go and debate about it or speak about it or whatever. But as long as someone just can confirm with me, and then I can go and schedule it, not a problem, and send the link to all the groups as well. but I'm happy with that. Okay, good. So if it is confirmed, then like I say, just let me know, and then we can. Yes, definitely. I will definitely record it. And like I said, Tunzi, if I know you said that the week is a little bit crazy for you, I understand that. So if you want to meet up with me quickly for 15, 20 minutes on another day, again, just send me a message. Just let me know that this is what you need or whatever, So but yes, the session will definitely, everything is recorded and shared. Nothing that we do here is is private. We are all we share everything. Okay, guys, so let's quickly. Yes, I will definitely send it to Peter. I'll send it to Theo, and I will also send it to Mariska as well. So I'll send it to all the students, and I will be on online. So if for some reason it does change, let me know. Otherwise, I'm just quickly penciling it into the calendar here. So we'll just do exam. Sorry, just give me 1 second. I just want to write it here. 1930. Okay. 16. Okay, perfect. Perfect. There you go. Perfect. I've got it. It will be recorded. It will be shared. If you guys have got any particular questions as well on that session, then let me know as well. Okay. So I think we've been chatting for a long time now, but I just wanted to quickly show you. I will put this presentation up as well. I'm not going to run through every single learning objective. I just wanted to show you. 15th is a holiday. Hey, Nate. We're not talking about the 15th of December here. We're talking about now. You've got a whole month before the time. So again, we will go through the case studies there. We'll go through the examples. So I just wanted to show you some of these learning outcomes to focus on. I know that I'm not going to go through them all, but yeah, we're just going to go. So you'll see, and I'll again, all the OTs do have this presentation, so they would have already received it, and they will share it with you as well. But I just wanted to show you what I meant when we speak about these are the learning outcomes. So you'll see on each slide here, I've put the learning outcomes, and if you can literally like answer these as if they were questions, so discuss, write a little analysis on it, you're going to be fine for the exam. So take each one of these learning units, and even in preparation for the 15th, so even in preparation for next week, try and work through some of these learning outcomes so that you can, get an idea of the content, of the theory, and that will just put you in good stead to when you are actually doing it. So learning unit 1 speaks about the management environment. They speak about the definition of what the management is, and they speak about the processes of management and what are the approaches to management. So we look at our different approaches to management and what are the theories around management. Then we move on to learning unit 2. Again, ladies and gents, I'm just going to quickly skim through this. You can read through it as well on the slide, and you can, as you are busy preparing, I'm just giving you a overview of each learning unit that would be here as well. So learning unit 2, we focus on the managers, and we spoke about the role of managers. Again, this would be ring a bell because you've done this in that first assignment where you spoke about the different roles of the managers. You did a whole essay on the roles, on the decision-making roles, on the interpersonal roles of the manager, on the technical skills that they need, the drive that they need. So we look at what is a manager, and what, if you want to be a manager, what are the skills that you need, and what are the roles that you are going to be doing as a manager. So that's just an overview of learning unit 2. Learning unit 3, you'll see we'll go into the process of leadership, and then from leadership, we move into motivation. So for both of these, learning unit 3 and learning unit 4, there are a lot of theories that you need to learn. And my advice would be to make sure that you know the theories, okay? The theories always come up. So there are a lot of different theories both for Learning Unit 3 and Learning Unit 4. So in Learning Unit 3, we look at all the leadership theories, we look at trait theory, behavior theory, the contingency theories. So those are our 3 big groups of theories that we look at. Make sure you understand them. We don't know which one of them we're going to get, whether it is leadership or motivation, but there's always going to be a theory in our business second year paper. So we are either looking at leadership theories, so any of these leadership theories that you see on the screen here, or we are looking at the motivation theory. So here again, we've got our content theories and our process theories. And underneath each of these, remember, we've got our Adolphus theory. We've got our many different theories, the expectancy theory. So we've got many theories under each of these topics, and it's important for you to have an holistic view of the theories. When you're working with the theories, remember to have those examples. So it's always a little bit easier and makes your life a lot easier if now already you can go and look at the theory. So take trait theory, take Adolphus theory, take the ERG theory, and have an example in the workplace for that theory. If they're asking for an example from the case study, you can apply your example to the case study. If they're not asking specifically for an application, it's always advisable to just throw that example in there because it shows that you understand the content. So they might not specifically say, please provide an example, but trust me, it's always better if you can back up your work with an example or supporting document as well. Okay. Yeah, so those are the 2 big ones, the leadership theories and the motivational theories. Then we move on to Learning Unit 5, where we speak about change. Here we've got 2 different schools of thought. We've got the Kotter's steps to change, and we've got Lewin's step to change. So it's important that you understand both of those principles, again, with the examples, and that you are able to apply both Kotter and Lewin to different scenarios. So make sure you understand both of those topics for the change. That is probably the most important thing from Learning Unit 5, the different ways in which an organization can plan for change. So how can we implement change? What can an organization do to implement change so that it's not stressful to the employees, that the employees are on board with the change, that they are comfortable with the change, that there's no stress among the employees because of these changes that are happening in the organization. Okay? No problem, Nayo. I will share the recording as well. And like I say, we are almost finished here. So enjoy your evening. Learning Unit 6, we look at the decision-making process. So very important here to understand the steps in the decision-making process, to understand the conditions, whether we are making a decision in a very risky situation or if we are making it in a stable situation. So what is the level of risk within the decision making that we are taking, and how can we apply the steps in the decision making process? So what are the decision making process steps, and do we have examples for each one of those steps that we would have there? Learning Unit 7 looks at our information. So we look at setting up an information system. We look at how we can gather data on our customers, on our consumers. So how do we know what they are buying? How do we know what they are shopping for? How do we know what their interests are? All the data that we have gathered, and who's going to analyze that data so that we actually have useful information from the data. Where are we storing that data? So where are we keeping the data? Whose job is it to analyze the data? Do we have an executive information officer who's going to analyze the data and give us a report on the data? Whose job is it to sort of set up an information system from when I'm going to gather the information to analyzing it and to actually using that information to sort of gain competitive advantage in the organization. All right. Second last, we look at our communication chapter. I know that this is not in the textbook, so just to remind you about that as well. And this is a very, I want to say, easy chapter. You have not been examined on these past chapters. So from chapter 7, chapter 8, you haven't been examined. So you know it's going to come out in the exam, okay? So there's going to be some communication question. Whether you need to draw the communication process, again, that has come up multiple times in a test. And an exam situation. Draw the communication process, explain the communication process, apply the communication process. So from the sender sending the message, encoding that message, to the receiver that's receiving the message or decoding the message, the noise that surrounds the message, the channel that is chosen to transmit the message, and making sure that the message was understood. So the feedback that has been received from the message. So that is our communication process. So we know the process, but it comes into a point where there's problems with communication. How do we overcome those problems? How can managers learn to communicate better and to actually implement the communication process in a better way as well? How can they use communication to overcome conflicts, to negotiate, and to actually make sure that the organization is running smoothly? And then the very last chapter, guys, and then I will let you go, is Learning Unit 9. Short and sweet, end off with a very short chapter. What do we know about this chapter? This is looking at a modern, a new organization. So when we think about organizations in the past, traditional organizations, out with the old, in with the new, what does a new organization look like? The employees are working flexible times. Where in the past only men could work, now women are working. So the changing face of the organization. Organizations, employees have more say in how the business is run. It's not as autocratic as before, where I just get told what to do. Now an employee can be part of the decision-making process. Maybe they've got their own little team to lead or their own project that they can run with. So the organizations has become flatter. In other words, it's not just one person barking all the commands, but we are rallying in opinions of the employees. We are using their skills to filter through the entire organization as well. So we look at a modern open plan. You know, in the past, if you were working, let's say 50 years ago, you would have your little office space between four walls with a door that is closed. No one would know what you are doing or what you are saying. Nowadays, when we work, we've got open plan offices. Employees communicate with one another. The theory is we bounce ideas off one another and we make the organization better. So we're using more technology to communicate. That's really increased our look or the way that we do business. So modern organizations using modern technology, using good communications, and also just the world that has been made smaller because of that, because we can communicate very quickly with everyone else. So just to compare a traditional business with a modern business and the way that it has been operated as well. And that is all for tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Good luck. Good luck with the studying. Good luck with your statistics. That's also coming up. I'll be thinking of you. And then I will send out a reminder for the 15th of November. Yes, may the luck of the Irish be with you all. Thanks, Gaston, for that as well. And yeah, I will share this recording as soon as it has processed. So it's time to convert to a shareable sort of video, if you would say. I will put it up on the YouTube channel. I will share it with all the OTs. And please, if you need anything, let me know as well. Danke on there as well. Sure, we hoying all the German and and everything. Guys, have a wonderful evening. Just to reiterate that, I know I speak on everyone's behalf in this group, but we are so proud of you guys so far. You really have put in a lot of effort for the assignment and it doesn't go unnoticed. So thank you. You know, like you say, you're juggling work and some of you juggling families, children, jobs, whatever, and you guys just somehow make it work. So well done. You can really don't celebrate too soon yet. So wait until the 15th of December for the public holiday. So don't celebrate yet, but you can really start giving yourself a pat on the back because you really are quite remarkable. So I take my hat off to each and every one of you. Thanks, guys. I won't keep you much longer, otherwise I could talk forever. So I'm over and out. Have a wonderful evening, and we will chat again soon. Yes, wait for the results. There's a meme with someone like waiting to get married or whatever, and they're turning into a skeleton. You're going to be turning into a skeleton as well. Waiting for so long. No, I'm joking. Friday, guys. They will, unless they take really long to be verified, which I shouldn't foresee there would be a problem, then you will receive them on the 10th, on the 10th of November. Okay, dokes, everyone. Yes, the 15th, I'm going to, I've written it down. I will send the announcement out as well, and I will prepare some past exam questions as well. No probs.